Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Vino, Frankel, A Taste of Sculpterra. It's the 11th episode, a weekly podcast that I bring to you each week. We record this on Tuesday and upload it by the end of the week. It's about wine. It's about me as a winemaker, grape grower, vineyard manager, all the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, and about Sculpterra. We just had our Black Friday sale. It was awesome, a lot of fun. We sold lots of wine and a lot of happy customers, and it was just a great day overall. It didn't rain. It was nice weather throughout the day. So, wonderful. So today's episode, I've got two guests. Typically we have one. Today we got two. We got Donna Wolfe to my straight ahead, and a new folk to the podcast.
Yeah. Howdy, Brian Kusko.
Brian Kusko. Brian has worked for us for over a month now.
Has it been over a month?
It's been a month. Yeah.
He's a newbie.
Oh, we didn't have a 30-day check-in. I guess I'm doing all right.
I was looking at that today. Well, yeah. Brian was hired to make videos, graphic design, wine labels, posters, flyers, general IT stuff, tech stuff. He's really talented, really good at that, and man, I've just loved having him on staff. If you've seen some of the YouTube shorts and videos that he's put together with me, it's we've been wanting to do these kind of things for a long time, and now having him on staff is just incredible. We can do this and make lots of fun content and bring it to you right away. So thank you, Brian. I'm really looking forward to the future, and I know you have lots of ideas. I have lots of ideas, and
mainly about raccoons.
Yes, raccoons. We're going to get to the raccoons later. We do our animals in the vineyard topic. So, Donna, I wanted to just flash to you real quick. So we have our authors showcase is this Saturday.
It is this Saturday. It's going to be from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. And we have almost 20 writers, local writers, and I just got 2 emails this morning from 2 writers, and they want to be in, and of course I can't say no. So I'm so excited to have them. I'm going to just read a couple of them if that's okay. Debbie Thomas, who used to own a restaurant downtown. Do you remember Debbie Thomas? It's Thomas Hill Organic.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
She wrote a book, so she's going to be there. Your dad is going to be there, who wrote a book called Healing Hands. And also Sally Davis, who is a local writer in town. She's been on the podcast. She has been helping out with all the people that have reached out, and she knows these writers. So I have to tip my hat off to her because she was a big help on this. And she'll be there too with her books, which I have read one of her books right here. Death is Personal. It was a good mystery.
Oh, wow.
I read this one. So we've got wonderful people who have been on the New York Times bestseller list, and this is one of them. So I'm actually reading her book right now. I'm in the middle of it. So we have some wonderful, wonderful people coming out. So I hope for Christmas people can come out. We have these wonderful bags. Woo! These wonderful bags. Each author will have them. So if you do purchase a book, you'll get one of these beautiful bags. That is a nice logo about our book showcase. So our author's showcase. So excited about it. We're gonna do it hopefully each year in December, right before Christmas.
Yeah, the good news is it's not going to rain. We had to cancel the Fall Art Festival, which was very sad.
That was devastating.
We're doing it in the spring, 2026, but the Authors Showcase happening tomorrow, on Saturday. It's happening. There's no rain in the forecast. It's going to be a nice sunny day, and we've got food trucks, music,
hot dogs,
authors. Yep, it's going to be wonderful. Great time to come out. Well, back to Black Friday. It was a big day, a lot of fun. We were doing 60% off from the hours of 6 to 10 a.m. We sold 1,185 cases for the day, which a mix of online, people ordering later in the day, than in store. The biggest sellers were Viognier, our Sculpterra Pinot Noir, which was surprising because Pinot, it's a good seller for us, but it's usually not, one or two. Viognier, Sculpterra, Pinot, Primitivo, and Cabernet Sauvignon. Those were the number ones. What did you guys think? Both of you worked and helped me a lot.
Well, I was on the phone taking orders. It was busy. It was very busy. And that's the first day that I met Brian. So that was great.
I was not on the phone, which I definitely appreciated. I heard some of the phone calls, and it was like trying to figure out right at the beginning of the sale, making sure that everything was moving fluidly, which it wasn't quite yet right at the beginning. So I was like, we're trying to figure it out, but also glad that I wasn't on the phone. So thank you for handling it.
Everyone was so nice on the phone, I have to say, because sometimes, your eyeballs fall out because you're trying to figure out what do they want. And it was really smooth. I have to tell you, this year was really smooth. It was Truman and I answering the phones. Christian was helping. I mean, everybody was there. So it was smooth, I have to say that. And everyone was really kind, which was so nice.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun to sell a lot of wine. It's just fun that people know it's an event. I met many people that said, I come here every year for Black Friday. We get donuts and coffee, and it's a fun thing to do. Our kids are asleep, but we came out and we've made this an annual trip. We're from San Diego, but we come up every Black Friday to experience this. And we had the Christmas lights up, most of the Christmas lights, decorations, and lots of Christmas gifts for sale. So a really fun day. And then the whole weekend was busy. Saturday, we had the Backroads Thanksgiving winemaker dinner at Cass Winery with, I think there was 8 wineries represented from the Backroads. So that was fun. That was, we brought wines to pair with the meal. I brought Primitivo port, which they had chocolate cheesecake at the very end of the dinner, and I was the only one with port. So the 82 guests were all looking at me, where's the port, and I had 3 bottles of port. I poured it in just felt like a couple seconds. Everybody wanted the port, so the port saves the day. Primitivo port, it paired really well with the chocolate cheesecake. But really fun event. And the Backroads is a really unique organization, very small. And they're doing this dinner the Saturday after Thanksgiving every year now, and very fun, great time.
So I got to tell you, right outside of the production room, you got all those boxes of J. Jagger Primitivo port just sitting there. I got a huge sweet tooth, and so like I'll walk by every time, like, don't touch the box, don't go do some work, don't grab a box. It's 6 a.m. It's not time to start drinking the port, but it's enticing.
Have you tasted the port yet?
I've not tasted the port yet.
Oh my gosh, the port is fantastic. I had a wine shop, and that was probably the number one dessert wine that would sell is Paul's port. We did a port throwdown that one night, and your port
Beautiful
did
bottle
great.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice looking.
Primitivo.
Yeah, port, great thing to end wine, great thing to end your meal with, but Viognier, a good wine to begin your meal with. Viognier is what we're going to be focusing on today. I brought 2 years of our Sculpterra Viognier. I found we had 12 cases of 2023 left that I had stashed away that I brought back for Black Friday. We sold all of it, but I kept a couple bottles of it aside. We're going to compare the 23 to the 2024.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
If you were going to be doing a progressive tasting of starting with a certain wine and moving through with some kind of plan in mind, would you always start with a white wine?
Yeah, we always try to have people begin with the light-bodied wines and work their way to the medium and then end with the heavy or sweet. If you start with sweet, it wrecks your palate, and you need to cleanse your palate and be able to taste accurately. Like the winemaker dinners, it's always white wine, rosé, Pinot Noir, Grenache. Then we move into the blends, the Cab, and we end with a dessert wine. You don't have to do that, but that seems to be like the best. Kind of like when you're having dinner, you start with a salad and then maybe some chicken, and then you don't go right to the steak. Wine has a similar way of tasting.
That makes sense.
All right. Well, harvest is over. We're very happy harvest is over. Now we're bottling. Today we shot a bottling video on how I filter wine, so that'll be up soon.
It's up now.
Oh, it's up now.
It's there. It's ready to
filtering.
watch.
Yeah.
So did you bring the Bottlemeister, the guy that bottles.
They're coming
Are you using
next
the
week.
Bottlemeister?
Bottlemeister. In fact, Paul, the manager of the Bottlemeister, he's going to come on the podcast too, and we're going to share stories of bottling and all his wild experiences. They go from winery to winery. They're at a different winery every day. They've got 4 bottling trucks, so he manages the whole schedule. They have a South County truck, 2 trucks that are staying in Paso, and then 1 truck that goes up to Napa and Lodi, Sonoma, Santa Maria.
I know that guy who owns it.
Tom.
I think it's Tom.
Tom Banish?
I remember when
No.
he just had 1 truck.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah, so we're bottling next week. We're bottling Héroe Cabernet. This is the 2024 vintage. Mourvedre 2024, which we tasted last week on the podcast. And that's going to come out at the Christmas party, December 18th. And we're bottling a Jade Moon wine. Dale and Hugh Morris, who I make wine for. I'm bottling a Cab Syrah blend. So just 3 wines next week. Bottling it's kind of like harvest. It can be very stressful, lots to keep your eye on, and you got to make sure you have enough corks and capsules and glass, and the wine has to be prepared in time, and the barrels have to come out, and a lot of things have to come together because you have that bottling date. It's hard to reschedule the bottling truck once they're coming. They're coming, and they schedule out 6 months to a year in advance. So it's hard to change the bottling date. But
That's a wild operation, man. I've not ever seen that before, where they have actually a whole bottling system on a truck that pulls up, which I guess makes sense because I imagine none of the wineries have like their own bottling facility on site. So
the larger wineries do. I think there's a cutoff. Like you need to make 300,000 cases of wine. If you make over 300,000 cases of wine, it makes sense to own your own bottling equipment because then you're going to be bottling almost every day of the year. Like there's wineries in Paso, Castoro, Hope, Dow. They bottle almost every day of the year.
So tell them what happened when there was no bottling truck. What would you have to do as a winemaker?
Well, we used to bottle by hand. We had our own we would fill, cork, capsule. But you could only do a couple pallets a day. The bottling truck, we could do maybe over 50 pallets a day because they bottle a pallet every 15 minutes. So in a 9-hour day,
big difference.
50 pallets.
Yep.
But the actual bottling day is when I can take a breath and relax. It's all the days leading up to bottling. When we're actually bottling, it's usually things are...
You're passing it off to somebody else and kind of watch them work.
Yeah, it's like getting everything prepared prior to the bottling. That makes it hard. But I had a couple questions for you two. Black Friday, what was the biggest order that you took? Donna, start with you.
The biggest order, I think, was 10 cases.
Okay.
And
were they whole cases or was it a mixed operation?
it wasn't mixed, which was nice. I think it was the Viognier. I believe it was the Viognier. But I remember I did some with 6 cases. I did some with 8 cases. Yeah, it was mostly the Viognier. That's what was selling. Yeah.
What about you, Brian? I know you were looking at a lot of orders.
I was looking
fixing
at
a lot of orders.
Yeah, and I wasn't necessarily paying attention to how much it was all the time, but I would look at it from time to time. And right towards the end, I started doing some math. And to your point, I can't imagine me on the logistics end of like having a case of like 12 different wines, which is definitely how I would have done it. I'd have been like, oh, I want to try that and that and that. Get 60% off all these.
We got some of those. I mean, we did get some of those going, I'd like one Cab. I'd like one rosé. So you're just kind of going, okay. And you have to look them up. And I always communicate with the customer going, hey, let me look it up because the page changes. And they're very patient about it. So once I explain it to them, they're cool.
Yeah. I did see a case come through, the order there was definitely one for 10 cases. There's definitely one for 11 cases. And I think 11 might have been the biggest. It was somewhere between 11 and 12. And the funny thing is, like, the very last tours, we capped it at 10 a.m., right? I mean, we left some leeway for,
we did.
For some,
like
stragglers and whatnot. But
yep.
right at 10 a.m., because people know that this is when it's officially over. It's 10 a.m. That's what it says online.
But we do get good stories. I have to tell you, they're like, oh my gosh, something happened and I had to go to the hospital and now I'm back. Everything's fine.
I know.
Can I get the 60% off? I'm like, Yeah, you can.
I've just had a crazy week. I know that it's January 2nd, but I've just, please, Black Friday.
Their stories have to be good and creative and thoughtful. But yeah, most of them, they didn't get in time. We'll give them a little leeway for sure. And they're good customers too. They've been with us for a long time.
The thing that blew my mind was the last two that came in right at 10 a.m. They were huge. One of the 11 case orders was right on the dot at 10 a.m. I was like, man, you knew you were going to get that much wine. You waited till the literal last minute for the sale. You're talking about like $600 something not saving.
That gets them all excited. It's like studying for a quiz the day before.
They're just waiting there, waiting. They have it all in the cart, just waiting to press it. Okay, 10 a.m.
I'm doing it. But yeah, it was smooth and it was great. And seeing all those big orders, it just made me happy that they were happy about all the products that we have and all the wine. So that was really fun.
We had a good team packing too. I was in charge
guys
of
were
the
great,
the
by
logistical
the way.
side.
You guys all had the same uniform. You guys were like
wearing
ninjas
black.
back there.
Yep. Build the order.
Definitely moving and grooving.
You guys were doing great.
Super
You weren't joking.
fun.
This gets a little toasty in here. I'm going to start taking some clothes off. Sorry.
It gets warm.
That's a different show, folks.
All right. Well, let's moving to my next section here. We got World of Wine, which I was going to talk about terroir, which is a great French word. Have you two heard of terroir?
I have
Yes,
heard of
Sculpterra means sculpture and land. So
terroir.
terroir.
Yes, terroir is the influence of climate and soil and landscape and topography on wine. In France, it's really crucial because they say that the terroir makes the wine what it is. So it's almost more important in France where the grapes are grown. It's more important where the grape is grown than what the actual grape is.
Well, when you're talking about like champagne, right? Like it has to be from that region. You can't even call it champagne. You have to call it sparkling wine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah, the key components of terroir are climate, which this includes temperature, rainfall, sunlight, which affects the grape's ripeness and acidity levels. So like, again, each region, each place has their own climate. And that's why, like even in Paso, we got the west side, the east side, the Backroads, the North Coast, Shandon, San Juan, Estrella. We have all these areas that have their own climate, that have a different climate. The west side gets more rain than the east side, or we get more heat. That all affects the ripeness and the acidity of the grapes. Then soil. People really nerd out on the soil, the composition, the drainage, the mineral content of the soils are crucial. For example, a chalky soil might impart minerality in wine, whereas soils with rich clay tend to be more full-bodied wines, which is what we have. We have a lot of clay and loam soils, and which is what helps our wines become more intense and full-bodied and higher alcohol. Terroir, but there's more than just that.
And a lot of people do ask at the tasting room, they want to know, how does Paul know where to plant the grapes? I go, well, he went to school. He has his vintner's degree and his enology degree. So can you explain about how you know where to grow the cab and the Pinot? And I do tell them that the Pinot needs a little shade and cooling, so you have them in the hills. Can you do a little explanation?
If we're thinking about terroir, again, it's the site that makes the difference. So, I think we could grow anything that we grow on our property would have a specific taste because of our site, because of our terroir. But what's really special is for Cabernet, for example, we have Cabernet in the valley and on the hilltop. So 2 different zones, 2 different climates, different amount of sunlight, and there's differences in the soils, but not to say one site is better than the other. They're both unique, and they both contribute to unique flavors to the wine. But like Donna was saying, Pinot Noir, which is prone to frost, it has early bud break. It also can get overheated in the summer with too much heat. So we planted Pinot in the valley floor. There's a big hill line that protects it in the afternoon. It gets more shaded in the afternoon hours in the summer. But the terroir is also like the physical landscape, the altitude, the slope, the proximity to water. So our vineyard we go from 1,000 feet elevation down to 700. I live right on a creek that's about 700 feet. So that also influences how the grapes ripen. But again, it's an important part of wine is, where it's from. It's not just, who made the wine or what grape you're using, but where it's from, how it's grown. I've heard of vineyards in France that one row is owned by a family and then the other row is owned by his uncle, and they take care of it and they claim, oh, no, this row has a different terroir. The soil's a little different in this section than it is in our section. So we get higher bricks than he does, but his wines have better acidity. So just little differences that can make a big difference in the wine.
That's why you guys have a lot of that going on the property there. It seems like there's a lot of different elevations, and my understanding is that when the Salinas would flood and whatnot, you get all these different types of soil deposits in one property. So I think when your dad probably bought it, it was a spot where ranchers were like, too much change in elevation is a little too dynamic for ranchers, but it's perfect for growing grapes.
Yeah, it's complexity. It adds to the complexity in wine that we can have, like steep slopes.
Doesn't it kind of look like France now because of all the grass growing in between the vines? It's beautiful. I mean, I haven't seen that in a long time. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yep. So terroir, not terrier, not the French terrier, but terroir. Terroir. All right. Well, what about Sculpterra event calendar? Well, we just had Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yay.
So we talked right away at the show that we're doing our author showcase. It's happening Saturday, December 6th. So if you're watching
it's free to attend. Just to let you know, it's free to attend. We're going to have 2 food trucks there. We're going to have some music by Pat Pearson Project. He's an amazing writer, singer, guitarist. I've known him for years. We used to play together a long time ago. But Pat Pearson Project's going to be playing that day. I believe we're going to have Chaco's Mexican Food Grill, and we're going to have the Patagonia hot
Patagonia's
dogs.
not going to come now. He told me.
Patagonia's not going to come.
He has
Sorry,
a gig
guys.
at a new winery, and he really wants to accept it. So he asked me if he could miss it.
All right. Chaco's Mexican Food Grill is going to have to do it all.
He'll be busy.
It'll be a busy
nice
day. So we look forward to seeing everybody out there. Yay.
Yep. And then our Christmas event, which is on a Thursday night, December 18th. This is the one I'm really looking forward to. We've thought, think about it all year and decorate the tasting room and outside the Christmas lights, going up trees and the front garden, back garden. It's going to look really special, really pretty. And my son and wife are going to be on the podcast next week. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, I don't think we can go the full 45 hour or so. We'll maybe keep next week's episode shorter. But my son's going to share his experiences because he's done this nativity story every year for us. So he's a trooper, and he's going to sing. He's now the leader of the singers, which is the first. Usually he's in the background singing, but we have a whole new group, and he's front and center because he knows the songs a little better than the other kids. So I'm excited to have him talk about it. that'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be great.
And then we're open Christmas Eve. We're open New Year's Eve. We're closed Christmas Day, but we are open New Year's Day. We're open. So come on out those days. We're doing a winemaker dinner at Manny's Pizza in San Miguel. We've already sold 15 tickets. We're going to cap it at 32. So get your tickets now. We've got the menu. I've got the wines figured out, what we're bringing. And this is super fun. In fact, I went there on Sunday after church at Mission San Miguel, and the pizzas are just great. I don't know, something with the crust that he does. It's just like the crust is such an important part.
Is it a big brick oven type of thing, or
no? I don't know. I mean, he's been in the pizza business for 30 years. He owned a restaurant in Cambria. Then he had the work at the bowling alley in Paso. He had a little pizza place.
Does he have a food truck? Does he have a truck?
No.
He's like, Manny, come out
here. He
here.
does catering. He's done catering for folks, but it's just great. He's a really good chef.
Yeah.
He's been
I've heard about
in a long
him.
time.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, Brian got a ticket.
I got to take me and my wife. We, with as many kids as we have, sometimes nights out take the back seat many times. So this will be one of our 3 dates for the year. It's gonna be awesome.
Okay, and then following up after that, we have a wine club party in February, open house party. So we'll get you more information on that as we get closer. All right, well, too much personal information about me, TMI. Okay, well,
Can I ask?
What you're about to give?
Can I ask the question?
yes, you can ask the question, Donna.
Paul, do you drink other people's wine?
Yeah, see, this is really funny because people give me wine all the time and they think I'm going to drink it. So I usually don't. I usually give it to other people, or we have a Christmas party, we give it away to staff. I have a tough time drinking other people's wine, and I know I shouldn't. I know I should branch out and try everything that I can try and see what other people are doing. But when I have time to drink wine after a long day's work, or I'm having dinner and I want to taste wine, I want to taste our wine because I'm always thinking, all right, I have this wine coming out soon. I want to see how it's tasting. Or this is an old wine. It's a library wine, and I want to see if it's changed since the last time I tried it. So because I'm always experiencing our wines and I'm always looking back and looking forward, I focus on our wines. So, but at the Cass Winery, at the Backroads dinner we just had Saturday, the other lots of winemakers were just walking around and they saw an empty glass. They filled your glass. So I tried Marsanne and Roussanne from Cass. I tried a Bovino wine. My wife is on me to go wine tasting. She asks me all the time, and we've gone wine tasting in Paso a couple times, and it's really fun to do. But when I drink wine, I drink Sculpterra wine. There it is.
It's reasonable.
Is there any other winery that you really like out there? And I know we love Cass. They have great wines. Is there anybody else that you can kind of think of that you like their wines?
Yeah, I went to Glunt's Winery. Do you remember?
Yeah, Glunt's.
Chumea, and then do you remember when?
Chumea, yeah.
Yeah. The Glunt's family bought that, and they've been open maybe 10 years.
It's two brothers, right?
Yeah. His name is Stevan, and I forget the older brother. But yeah, that's one place that we went wine tasting last year or the year before, and every wine was great. I was really impressed.
Did you try their Chardonnay?
I don't remember. I remember just the reds, and the reds were just like ours, just a lot of character, a lot of complexity, great finish.
One of their workers is a wine club member at Sculpterra.
Oh, nice.
And I have to say, I went out there to taste some of their wines, and what stood out was their Chardonnay. I thought they did a great job on their Chardonnay. Yeah.
Yeah, there's fantastic wines in Paso. I need to get out. I need to taste more.
He's going to.
I like our wines too much. That's the truth.
I get that.
I just can't argue with that. Wait, is there an actual segment called TMI? Is that what
Yeah, too much information.
Can I actually see that?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean,
Isn't that
By
fun?
the way, the wine that I keep coming back to at Sculpterra is Pinot Noir and the Viognier. Those are the two top ones. I had a wine shop, and those two were the best sellers. Yes, because people like the taste of it, especially that Viognier. Remember, I would call and I'd go, I need another case. Come on, Kyle, bring me another case. So the Viognier and the Pinot Noir were the best sellers, and people would come into the wine shop and go, do you have the one with the cat on it? I knew exactly which one it was. So it did so well there, Paul. And you were very gracious on the pricing and everything. It was so wonderful. So thank you back then.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah.
Dude, this is amazing. This is well done.
Thank you. I try.
Are you surprised?
I mean, no, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but
Hey, I always said if I'm going to do a podcast, if I'm going to do anything, I want to do it right. I want to put my heart into it. I want to work hard. I want to give people the truth. I want to give them like a true glimpse into my crazy life.
Well,
I have a pretty crazy
Paul
life.
puts all the production notes in back of every single bottle. So you are doing exactly the same thing in a different format. You're transparent. You want people to know what you're doing. So it makes sense, because people are always shocked when they see the production notes in the back of the bottle. They truly are. And I said, Paul really wants you to see what he does. He wants you to see where it's grown, how it's picked, what kind of barrels are used.
There's
and when
no
he
secrets
bottles
in
it.
winemaking.
Yeah,
There's no secrets.
it's really nice, because you see some bottles that just say the terroir, on it, and you're like, I don't know what's in here, and this is usually French wines, but it's really wonderful that you do that, and our customers really enjoy it. They really enjoy it that you do that. So it makes sense that you're doing this.
All right, Brian, what about animals in the vineyard? So I started this segment, Brian, because my son, every day when I come home, he says, "What did you see today?" And at first I didn't understand. I said, "Oh, I saw Brian, or I saw Donna." But no, he wants to know, what animals did I see today? Because he wants to know about Cha-Cha, our cat, who's on Facebook all the time now.
I love
Cha-Cha.
that.
Or he wants to know if we saw a snake or a raccoon. So raccoons. I want to talk about raccoons today. 2 years ago, we lost a lot of chickens to the raccoons when our chicken coop wasn't secured. But what about you, Brian? I know you're more the animal guy than any of us here. So what can you tell us about raccoons?
Raccoons are brutal. They look cute, and they look, with their little masks, like Donna was saying earlier, like they do look cute, and they have a great appearance. We have the nickname for him, Trash Panda. I was just camping up at Velasquez Creek, and I could hear them there outside going through my trash, aka Trash Panda. And I hear my wife thinking about going outside. I could hear, I was like, do not go out there. She's like, there's raccoons getting in our trash. I was like, let them get in there, because I don't know if you've ever seen a video of somebody trying to swat a raccoon off their porch with a broom. It does not end well for the swatter. Like the raccoons, if you try to mess with them, they are not afraid. They will come at you.
They're like turkeys.
They will come at you,
and they're quick.
And they will mess you up.
Oh my goodness, you see these cute YouTubes of these cute little raccoons giving like a massage on the cat or something.
Well, that's the other thing. They can make really great pets if you raise them from young. There's a guy in Washington, we used to play in this bar up there, and this guy would always come into every show with his raccoon on his shoulder, and they would just hang out with him. He's super chill and nice. Another thing, if you want to trap a raccoon, they really love shiny objects. Okay. Like if you there's a trap they used to use in the Midwest or in the South for catching and making coonskin caps and whatnot, and they basically would just put something shiny inside of a little box or inside of a little cage where the things were slim enough where if that raccoon's hand is open, it can reach in and grab it. But as soon as it grabbed it, it made a fist. You couldn't pull his hand back out of the box. Yeah. And the raccoons were so infatuated with something shiny that they would sit. The person would literally be walking up on them with a club to come club them, and the raccoon sees the person coming, but they're so enthralled with the shiny thing, they will not let go of it to escape.
Well, we could take it to the animal sanctuary.
Yeah, my wife.
They'll place him somewhere else.
My wife says she had a pet raccoon in Mexico, in Mazatlan, and they're on the street in Mazatlan. They just walk up and down the beach.
Well, they're super smart.
She had a pet raccoon.
Yeah, they're incredibly intelligent. I haven't seen a snake yet. Now, do you get snakes in the vineyard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's too cold now. In the summertime, in the evenings, oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
We saw a rattlesnake for the first time this year in like 10 or more years. So we have a lot of king snakes, a lot of gopher snakes, but I'll find one for you. Abraham will find one for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, raccoons. Yeah, so raccoons are good though because they eat gophers and squirrels. They take care of mice and rodents. They can eat nuts, which is we don't want them to eat our pistachios, obviously, but they're good animals. Yeah, like Brian was saying, you just kind of stay away from them. I remember living at my parents' house. They would jump up to our porch and eat the cat food, and the cats would just move to the side and just watch. And the two raccoons would eat the cat food. And then when the raccoons left away, we gave them more food. It's like you just watch the raccoons just hanging out outside the porch.
I didn't realize they were so aggressive.
It's not so much that, I wouldn't say aggressive because they're not like just going to go out of the way to attack you. But if they feel like they're threatened, they're one of the few. A bear, like I'd be more worried about defending my camp against a raccoon than a black bear. I'd rather, really? I'd be much more comfortable chasing off a black bear than I would a raccoon. Just honestly.
Wow, that's interesting. No wonder they wear a mask so you don't know who they are. I get it now. Totally get it.
All right. Well, what about nerd out on wine? My wine nerdy section. For this section today, I wanted to, since we're talking about Viognier, one of the white wines, the only white wine that we grow, wanted to talk about the beginnings of it. How I got started doing it, and my philosophy behind it. Donna was just saying it's sold great at her wine shop. It's our number one seller at the tasting room, and I think the key to it, Very simple, but picking it in stages. I talk about this all the time. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't pick everything in one shot. You think the grapes are ripe, you pick everything. Then you're only making one style of wine, right? You're just capturing the grapes on that specific day, the level of sugar and acidity. But I was taught pick a third or half of it early when it's mostly tart still. It's not really sweet yet.
Do you do that with all of your grapes or just the Viognier?
Yeah, we do it with everything, but it's more with Viognier it's more critical. I would say it's more crucial to separate the picks because we do an early pick for acidity. So if you were to have that early pick by itself, it's really tart and kind of tangy, great acid, but it doesn't have that lengthy, long finish to it. Then we pick half the block, then the second half of the block, we wait a couple weeks till the grapes are now super ripe, raisiny ripe. And that'll give you the stone fruits, peach, apricot, nectarine, all the floral characteristics, honeydew, cantaloupe. Those aromas aren't expressed until the Viognier is super ripe. But if it was just that, like if that's all you were tasting was just that really high tone fruit and it didn't have the mouthfeel or acidity from the first lot, it wouldn't be balanced. Again, wines have to be balanced. I'm just make everyone blue in the face. You got to have balanced wine. So by picking it in stages, so that first lot of Viognier, we ferment that in stainless steel to keep it as crisp and refreshing as possible. The second lot, we ferment part of it in new French oak, which will give it a creamy, round texture and mouthfeel. So I started doing that early on because I think the first couple of years we picked it all at once whenever I thought was when it was optimally ripe, and it came out well. But picking it instead, having those two extremes, I think that's really the key. It's better to have the extreme of underripe and overripe than to have one pick in the middle. And the extremes balance each other out. So 2023 Viognier was one of our biggest crops we've ever had. We're going to taste that one. 2024, we didn't even have a crop because we had frost. We had a frost on my wife and my wedding anniversary. We were at the Madonna Inn. We went and spent the night down there and had dinner. It was April 6th. And we saw it coming. We saw that it was a potential for frost, and the vines had broken bud. They were a couple inches out, little tender leaves growing that are very prone to frost. And we had this freeze come, and it burned all the buds, and we didn't hardly get a crop. We had less than a ton, where we typically get 15 tons with the two vineyards that we grow. So 2024 Viognier, we didn't make any, but I purchased fruit from other vineyards. We got fruit from Robert Hall's vineyard on 46 East, and then a vineyard out on right on Creston Road out on Suki's vineyard. So I wanted to try those, and we'll compare because the 2023 is mostly our fruit with a couple other Paso vineyards thrown in the mix. So the vintages taste very different from each other. Moving forward, we planted a new 8-acre block. It's actually 7.7 acres of Viognier on the hilltop. So we have 7.7 new acres. We have the 1 acre, the terrace vineyard, and then an acre and a half in front of the tasting room. So with those 3 blocks, we're going to be making a lot of Viognier in the coming years.
I've got a 2-part question for you.
Please.
With the Viognier specifically, do you have a certain, I guess with any grape variety, do you have like a certain flavor profile that you're going for with Sculpterra Viognier that you could take somebody else's grapes and do a certain amount of blending to get it to taste the way that you would have your own grapes taste?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's just how I was talking about picking in different stages when I've gotten Viognier from the west side. The west side Viognier has great natural acidity, so I'm picking those grapes early, and then I let our fruit ripen more to get the super ripe lot. Or Vino Robles' lot, Robert Hall, when I bought Viognier from them, I used those vineyards as that second pick, that super ripe lot, because I could tell, just what you're saying. I'm trying to make 2 different Viogniers that I blend together, but it's not our vineyard. I can still I can simulate that in other vineyards. And then after working with these vineyards for years and years, you start to notice, oh yeah, the Robert Hall vineyard has a lot of apricot, where Michael Ducey's Viognier, it's more like maybe plums or nectarine. There's different flavors that are just inherent in those vineyards naturally. And then I use different yeast. Yeast is a big part of it. So I've done a lot of research. We use BA11, D47, cross evolution, so the early lots I use a specific yeast, and the late lots I use a specific yeast that will even accentuate those flavors even more so.
I got another nerd question. Sorry, Donna.
Oh, I have a question. This is a question from usually customers. They ask, well, the Viognier, where do you get the Viognier? I tell him that he doesn't just plant a seed in there and we wait for a while. Can you tell him the process of getting new vines?
Yeah. Eddie Ehrman, who was on here a couple weeks ago, talked about how you can't propagate vines from a seed. It doesn't work. They won't be fruitful. Vines are all taken from a cutting. They're taken from a mother vine. When a vine goes dormant, you prune that vine, take the pruning that you took, and you stick it in the ground. It'll sprout roots. There you go. Now you have a new vine. And then you could graft that vine onto a rootstock. And we use American rootstock, so Native American grapes, table grapes. We use that as the rootstock. And then these French cultivars, like Cabernet and Cabernet Franc, those are, from France. So we graft on the French cultivar with the American rootstock, and that's the combination. And now most French vineyards are American rootstocks with a French cultivar. So even the French wines, they say that they're French, but they're really, they've got American roots. But so we order vines from a nursery, and there's lots of nurseries throughout California. So they do the grafting for us. And we can select, we want which clone of Viognier grafted onto which rootstock. There's a lot of variables, and it all depends on your terroir, on your site, and what kind of soil you have, and if your soil has salt, or if it's drought tolerant, or a lot of factors when you're selecting what clone and rootstock combination that you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Wait! You're blowing my mind. You can't grow grapevines from grape seeds?
You can, but it won't be very fruitful.
And you'll be very patient.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah, you're much better off taking a cutting. You can get a cutting from our vineyard when the vines go dormant, and we prune, and we just leave all the cuttings on the ground. We eventually mow them into the vineyard rows. But yeah, you just take those cuttings. Did Darren do that?
Didn't Darren take some of your cuttings?
Yeah, I've sold cuttings to lots of people, lots of wine club members. I had one guy in San Diego who started a 5-acre vineyard just from our cuttings of Mourvedre, and he came every year, and I gave him a bundle of cuttings. But you got to plant it in the right direction. If you plant the cutting upside down, the vine will shoot. The shoots will sprout backwards.
They have to know what they're doing.
Which you can see it. You can see which direction the buds are growing and pointed.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. But yeah, wow. You just take a cutting. All right. Well, we're almost ready to taste Viognier. You guys asked me a couple questions here. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, can Viognier age? And I would say yes, it can. I typically like it right after it's bottled, at least for that year, and a couple years where it's mostly aromatic and fruity and fresh. It does age, but then you start to lose some of that youthful freshness and fruitiness, and it gains some oxidative characteristics, and the mouthfeel changes, and it becomes smoother.
So a lot of people do ask in the tasting room is, how long can I keep this Viognier?
Yeah.
Stored.
Yeah, I mean, you can age it a long time, but again, I think it tastes best within 2 to 3 years of the bottling.
That's kind of what I've told them too. I go not more than 5. I just said, 2 to 3.
At Tobless Creek, they have the vintage aging charts where it shows, which specific year, because every year is different. There's some years that age better than others. And they claim that Viognier, they have some Viogniers that are still reaching their peak, from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but depending on the year. So maybe one year, for whatever reason, produced wines with more ageability. But generally speaking, white wines are meant to be drunk right away. Red wines are wines that you want to age, especially Petit Syrah and tannic, dry, astringent, bitter, full-bodied wines.
People do ask, why does Paul do some screw tops and some corks? So you can answer our customers right now.
Yeah, this could be a long answer, but
give us a Reader's Digest.
I remember someone told me, I think Tom Allen, our old wine club manager, told me that like 90% of wine is consumed within 6 hours of purchase. There's some stat. Like, people buy wine to enjoy it right away. So why waste cork? Why harvest from the cork tree? I mean, these cork trees are beautiful, and cork's expensive. And if you're just gonna, if you're not using cork in a wine bottle, that's because you want it to age over time, because the cork is porous and oxygen penetrates in and out. So if it's something that you're gonna drink right away or within 6 months or even a year, use a screw cap. It's user friendly. I think most of our wines should be screw cap. I think maybe exceptions of Petit Syrah or Cab Reserve, wines that we know people hold on to for a long time. But years ago, I did a trial with Grenache. We bottled one pallet of Grenache using cork and one pallet using screw cap, and we did a blind tasting at the tasting room. It was like a year after the bottling, and everybody liked the screw cap bottle over the cork bottle. And then I tried it again, like 6 months later, and it was the same result, the same results. So I think screw caps, have a great effect on wine. Wines do age with using a screw cap. Now the screw caps have a liner and a breather hole, a small. That's what they claim. So it is, it can age, but I love doing screw caps. Yeah, I think it's.
And you'll never get a corked wine.
That's a huge plus.
That is a huge plus.
Yep. All right, you guys. Well, let's taste Viognier.
Yay!
Got 2 Viogniers for you to try.
Yeah, you're describing all the different notes and whatnot. I'm getting pretty hungry over here. Creams and apricots and honeydews and cantaloupes and a very small lunch.
Well, let's start with the 2024. Brian, if you could, you can pass it down to Donna.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just do a touch here. Small tasting.
2024?
Yep. Which is the current release that you'd find at the tasting room. This one doesn't have any of our grapes, which is okay, because the grapes that we purchased were
Is it Suki grapes?
very nice. Yep, it's the Robert Hall Vineyard right by Hunter Ranch Golf Course, right off 46 East, and also Suki Saran's vineyard on Creston Road. His vineyard is planted 3 feet by 4 feet, so you have to use an ATV to get through the rows, and they hand-pick the grapes, obviously, because it's so tight you can't get a machine to pick it. So they hand-pick the grapes, and they put the grapes on the picking trays, load that onto the back of an ATV, drive down the steep row, and then dump that into half-ton bins. So it takes a lot of manpower to pick that vineyard. Okay, Viognier. I can see it.
Nice color.
Yeah, it has a really strong aroma to it. I can smell it even like a couple feet away.
That's good.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think, I didn't mention this, but I think Viognier is Passo's best white. The climate, the soils, the topography, everything that the terroir of Paso matches Viognier. White varieties typically need a cooler climate, so they don't ripen too quickly. Viognier holds up in the heat and can last in the summer. It doesn't get overripe.
Why do you think they call it the red person's white wine?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Viognier is known to be a red wine drinker's white because it has more depth, more structure, has a bigger finish. Typically, we get folks all the time that are only red wine drinkers only, and we pour them a little Viognier, and they say, "Oh, I can handle this. I like this." So Viognier. So that's the 24. So we're gonna go back in time and try the 23. Whenever.
That is delicious. Brian, I'm gonna hand you mine. You got it.
Okay.
It's much sweeter on the palate than it is on the nose. It's almost got like some slightly savory, even like bitter notes on the nose. Mm-hmm. And yet the palate is like very, very sweet in comparison.
So, Paul, this is half our grapes and half Suki grapes.
Yeah, no, this is actually, this was 48% from Suki's Home Ranch on Crescent Road, 30% Robert Hall, and 22% from our vineyard, picked in three separate lots. We made 1,700 cases of this wine. This was bottled in February 2024, so it's coming up on 2 years since we bottled it. And 2023 Viognier. I think 2023 was a better year for Viognier overall. I liked how the grapes ripened that year more than 2024. So
the 22 was Sculpterra, and this is the...
no, we tried 24.
We tried 24 first. That was the Robert Hall.
We're going back in time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you'll notice right away that this one has got that oxidized, caramelized smell. It doesn't... it's showing its age, which is okay. But what Donna was saying, how long can these wines age? Not to say this is past its time, but it lost a lot of that youthful fruit. 2023. Yeah, even though it's winter time and it's cold out, and most people are thinking about red wines. White wines, you have to have for the holidays. There's always, Thanksgiving meal. I'm sure you're drinking a lot of whites, and Christmas, you got to have a little bit of white wine with everything, even when it's freezing out. Yeah, I think this wine has a lot of balance. This wine to me, I kind of, front palate, mid palate, back palate. It's round and
it's got nice acidity to it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to compare. I always struggle, comparing whites when one is a year older than the other, because that year in the bottle changes it quite a bit. Red wines, age a lot slower, but
why is that?
Because of the tannins. Red wines have tannins, which is it's a natural organic occurring compound. Yeah, it's the anthocyanins, the phenolics that help the wine to age slowly.
Man,
that was good.
Not done a ton of wine tasting. I've done lots of whiskey tasting. And the thing I love about wine, I would say, is like it's so much easier to pull the notes that you don't have to fight against so much ethanol to get to the notes.
You're not burning your eyebrows.
It's lower alcohol, but these are still, they're, for wine at least, they're on the higher end of alcohol. Brian, I didn't get to have you tell your story. We'll have to do that next time.
Sure.
A little bit about...
Absolutely.
Part 2.
Learn about Brian.
Let's learn about Brian.
There's a lot. I'm like an onion. There's lots of layers. Shrek.
Okay, everybody. This was fun.
Delicious.
Great podcast. Thank you, Donna. We're looking forward to the Authors Showcase tomorrow, Saturday, December 6th. Come on out. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Great weather.
That's right. We're not canceling it. It's happening.
It's going to be wonderful. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yep. Okay, Brian, what do you want to say to close us out?
Oh gosh, I get started on the story now, and I guess that's not necessarily.
We need more wine.
I feel like we're just getting this party started.
I know.
So yeah, maybe we'll have to
all cozy.
Definitely have to do a round 2, and maybe we'll start with one. I would love to do an episode where I get to, because I have so many questions. I don't know hardly anything about wine, so I feel like we could do like a dummy. Like, dummy gets to ask the expert, like all the questions that somebody who doesn't know anything about wine, like me, could ask, and I'm sure you'd have great answers for all of them. So
okay, that's a nice idea. We will do it.
Stay tuned. The next time I'm here, we will possibly have a musician here who has been playing at Sculpterra for a long time, and we'd like to honor that person. So yeah,
bring some music, everybody. Here. Well, as always, thanks for watching. If you haven't liked the video yet, please like it, comment, ask the question.
Share it.
Share it. Hit the notification bell. do all those fun things. It really helps the channel where, I am new at this and we're starting this up again. And now I've got Brian on board. He's helping us out with making everything so much better. So thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.